Yeah, I've had enough talking about it, mate. I'm honestly bored of it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll just see. I'm ready to fight whenever they tell me, so just let me know. I'll be there. Anybody, I'm not really too. I've never been too bothered who I fight, mate. To be honest, I'd rather fight boxers than MMA. That'll work better for me. So, just whatever. I'm not too bothered.
Wherever the money's at, right?
Wherever the money's at, I'll take it. No, we got work to do in the UFC first, mate, before I start thinking about WWE or boxing. So,
Tom Aspin is frustrated because Jon Jones keeps avoiding their much-anticipated fight. However, Francis Ngannou shared his thoughts on Jon Jones's hesitation to fight Tom Aspin. He mentioned that Aspin needs the fight to prove his worth, while Jon Jones doesn't have much to gain apart from money. Ngannou also wondered if fans would rather see Jones fight Aspin or Alex Pereira, pointing out that Aspin would be a tougher opponent because of his stronger wrestling and ground skills.
He keeps saying he doesn't want Aspinall.
Aspinall need that fight. I don't need it. When you look at it, pretty much true. There's nothing that he's going to make winning that fight if it's not money. But for Aspinall, that will be everything.
Would you rather see him face Aspinall or would you rather see him face Pereira?
Aspinall will be a more challenging fight because Aspinall responds to a ground game better than Pereira. Aspinall will respond better in wrestling than Pereira. He can do whatever.
Kamaru Usman believes that Tom Aspinall is currently the most dangerous heavyweight and the biggest threat to Jon Jones's title reign. However, Usman also emphasized that Jon Jones should focus on securing his financial future before taking on such a risky challenge.
You hit the nail on the head. I do think Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous heavyweight right now. 100% the biggest threat to pry that belt away from Jon Jones. But Jon has got to get that back.
Dana. White reassured fans that Jon Jones is fully committed to fighting. He mentioned that discussions are still happening about the timing and location of the fight. White is confident that the bout will take place in the summer and confirmed that an official announcement will be made once all the details are finalized.
Train where he was saying like Jon's side is holding up the fight. What is he referring to there?
Well, I think that, listen, Jon Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
Do you feel confidence? I think you said Jon
I'm very
in summer on first day.
That fight happens, yeah.
Summer?
Yeah.
Older Tom Aspinall seems to have grown tired of waiting for a fight with Jon Jones. He expressed his frustration, saying that he's no longer interested in the matchup and has lost interest in talking about it since Jones keeps avoiding him.
Yeah, I've had enough talking about it, mate. I'm honestly bored of it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll just see. I'm ready to fight whenever they tell me, so just let me know. I'll be there.
Aspinall also added that he's not too concerned about who he fights, but he would prefer facing boxers in MMA because it suits him better. He emphasized that his focus is on the UFC for now, and while he's open to different opportunities, he'll go where the money is.
Anybody, I'm not really too. I've never been too bothered who I fight, mate. To be honest, I'd rather fight boxers than MMA. That'll work better for me. So, just whatever. I'm not too bothered.
Wherever the money's at, right?
Wherever the money's at, I'll take it. No, we got.
Another highly anticipated Showdown fans are excited about is the fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. However, Curtis Blades mentioned that if Islam tries to take Topuria down, it won't be easy. He said it might take some effort to get the takedown, but once Islam gets it, he'll likely control Topuria, squeezing and maintaining control to secure a decision victory.
Islam takes him down. It won't be easy to get the takedown, but he will be constantly looking for the takedown. Once he gets it, he'll probably just squeeze him and smush him, and it'll be a decision victory.
Eddie Chaw believes Ilia Topuria can win, calling him one of his favorite fighters to watch because of his excellent distance control and striking. He also pointed out Ilia's strong grappling background and his dominance with takedowns before joining the UFC. Chaw is impressed by how quickly Ilia has improved his striking and offensive skills. However, he's concerned about the size difference and grappling exchanges in the fight. Despite these concerns, Chaw favors Islam Makhachev in the matchup.
Yeah, people probably think I'm crazy, but I think Ilia can get it done. Okay. He's one of my favorite guys to watch right now. His distance game. I mean, if you've seen him when he was like 6 or 7-0 at Brave before the UFC, he would just take guys down and just grapple. You know, I think that was his biggest strength. That's why I'm so impressed with that guy, because for him to be as good in striking in a short amount of time, understanding the game and how he runs his offense, it's phenomenal. So the size factor is my biggest concern, and I think the grappling, we'll see what happens, but I like Ilya though.
Joshua Van said that while Islam Makhachev is hard to beat, he's leaning toward Ilia Topuria because he's a striker, just like himself. He explained that, as a striker, he naturally connects with Ilya's fighting style, so he's picking him to win.
Islam is hard to beat, you know what I mean? But I'll go with Ilya just because he's a striker like myself, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Austin Vanderford mentioned that it's always tough to go against the Dagestani fighters, especially someone like Islam Makhachev, who is arguably the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. However, he believes Ilia Topuria is something special. Vanderford highlighted Ilya's boxing and wrestling skills, and he pointed out a stat he saw last week showing that Ilya rarely throws head or body kicks in his UFC career. He noted that Ilya's striking is precise and calculated.
Man, it's always tough to go against the Dagestani, especially when we're talking about, you know, pound for pound, one or two best fighter in the world. So, but Ilia Topuria is something special. His boxing, his wrestling. I saw a stat last week. It was like, I don't think Ilya's thrown a single head kick or a body kick his entire UFC career or something.
Vanderford added that Ilia Topuria is a slow, methodical fighter who processes information well during his fights. He pointed out that it only takes one moment for Ilia to capitalize and make a difference. Despite the challenge, Vanderford is going out on a limb and picking Ilia to win in that matchup.
Man, I mean, that's another one of those situations where it just takes one for Ilia. And you know, he's kind of one of those slow, methodical guys. And, you know, he's always processing information in the fight. I'm going to go on a limb and say Ilia in that one.
Javier Mendez believes a matchup between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria would unfold differently due to Islam's more complete skill set, especially in striking. Mendez highlighted Islam's ability to blend striking with submission techniques, making him a more well-rounded fighter in the matchup.
It definitely, in my opinion, would play out differently because they're not the same fighter. They're not the same fighter. Islam is more well-rounded than Khabib ever was, you know. So Islam is at the point where he's pound for pound number one because he's well-rounded in all the areas. Khabib was not as well-rounded as Islam is in the striking. Khabib, his attributes was the ground and the submission and how he can smother you and just, you know, make you feel like you're trapped and you can never get out. Islam doesn't have that type of game. He's got a different type of game. His game is incredible. It's submission level based more than anything. And as you've seen it with all his submissions, you know, it's different. It's different. They're not the same fight at all. It's an entirely different fight.
Mendez also pointed out that Islam is versatile, capable of exchanging strikes or securing takedowns. He noted that while Islam excels in wrestling, MMA wrestling is a distinct skill, which makes him a particularly tough challenge for anyone, including someone like Ilia Topuria.
Islam, he can do it all. He can stand with him, he can take him down, he can do anything, you know, and you know, before anybody starts thinking about, well, you know, he's the Division I wrestler, this and that, but hey, he was a Division I wrestler that was wrestling with Jordan Burroughs, and that didn't help him with Khabib. So trust me, when you're talking MMA, there's a difference between just wrestling and MMA wrestling. Khabib was the master, second to none in MMA wrestling. And Islam, I'm going to say, is a close second. But they're different, but he's a close second when it comes to MMA wrestling.
Julian Arosa said he's heard nothing but great things about Ilia Topuria's grappling and wrestling. If the hype around his skills in those areas is true, Arosa would pick Ilia 100%. He added that if Ilia's wrestling, grappling, and strength live up to expectations, he believes Ilia can beat Islam Makhachev.
I hear nothing but great things about Ilia's grappling and his wrestling. So if he lives up to the hype around his grappling and his wrestling, then I got to go with him 100%.
And you think he does? Do you think he can beat Islam?
Well, you know, if the hype is real about his wrestling and his grappling and his strength that I've heard, then if I go with that as truth, then yeah, I think he beats him.
Julian Arosa mentioned that he's heard nothing but great things about Ilia Topuria's grappling and wrestling. He said that if Ilia's skills in those areas live up to the hype, he would pick him to win 100%. When asked if he believes Ilya can beat Islam Makhachev, Arosa responded that if the hype about Ilya's wrestling, grappling, and strength is true, he believes Ilya could beat Islam on the other hand. Modesta Boa said he can't see anyone beating Islam due to his elite wrestling, striking, and jiu-jitsu. While he acknowledged Ilya's sharp boxing and improved grappling, Boa highlighted Islam's ability to secure takedowns and control fights, as seen in his fight against Dustin Poirier. Boa believes it will be a tough challenge for anyone facing Islam and leans toward Islam in the matchup.
I can't see anyone beating Islam. Just his wrestling is just so good. Obviously, Topuria has leveled up massively over his last couple of fights. His jiu-jitsu is also very good, but Islam's jiu-jitsu is very good. It seems that Islam's striking and range finding is very, very good, but Topuria's boxing is so sharp, he's able to close the pressure. But I think, you saw against Poirier, if he can just duck underneath and get into the takedown, I think it'll be a long night for whoever faces Islam, so I'll probably lean towards him.
As of now, there's no official confirmation of a fight between Ilya Topuria and Islam Makhachev. Recent reports suggest that Makhachev's team has declined a bout with Topuria, recommending that Topuria should first secure a victory against a top lightweight contender before challenging for the title. So, what do you think about this? Is Jon Jones ducking Tom Aspinall? Share your thoughts in the comments section and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.